The wind grows colder along a small harbor in Nova Scotia in the early 20th century. Wooden boats ride low in the water under the weight of cod, and gulls circle and scream above the masts. The air smells like salt, damp rope, and coal smoke from small engines. In a town like this, most people dream of owning something solid, whether it is a boat, a corner store, or a strip of land. Anything that might free them from the constant mercy of weather, debt, and bosses. Charles Kelly, known to everyone as Turkey for reasons no one can fully explain, does not look like a man who will ever escape that grind. Day after day, he works the same wharf, taking whatever shifts he can and accepting the jobs other men refuse. When a shipment arrives in sleet at an ugly hour, he joins the crew without complaint. When a run needs to be made to a tiny cove that barely appears on maps, he signs on. When work is scarce and the only option is hauling mixed freight that no one wants to touch, he shrugs and agrees. Up in the tavern that looks down over the harbor, his choices become a running joke. Other dockworkers tell him he is letting the owners walk over him. Shopkeepers shake their heads and say he is too soft to get ahead. The advice is always the same. He should hold out for better terms or leave for a city where there are more chances. What they miss is that every one of those bad jobs comes with information and contact. Each shift brings moments with key holders unlocking back doors, clerks counting crates in cramped offices, and tired captains muttering about their problems over a final drink. While he trudges along the pier with a hook in his hand, Turkey is quietly building a map of how everything in this harbor moves. He pays attention to which fishing families are always late but always pay, which are one bad storm away from ruin, and which merchants step in when times are tight rather than turning their backs. He notices which captains can be trusted to carry a message to the next harbor, which crews handle rough weather without panicking, and which parts of the wharf flood first when the tide and wind turn ugly. One autumn, a storm arrives at exactly the wrong moment. Several boats are damaged. A bridge on the main road washes out, and a shipment of fuel ends up stranded 2 harbors away. The neat plans written in offices far from the coast fall apart in a single night. Schedules mean nothing. People suddenly realize how little control they have. In the middle of the confusion, someone on the dock says, "Ask Turkey. He knows who can move it." The man who always seemed stuck at the bottom of the ladder starts to arrange a chain of swaps and favors. He convinces one captain to part with fuel in exchange for a promise of crew help in the next season. He finds space in a warehouse that most people assumed was full. He persuades the owner of a small boat to risk an extra run through sheltered channels that only the most experienced locals know how to navigate. He does all of this standing on the same warped planks he has always worked on, pencil tucked behind his ear, coat flapping in the wind and waves slapping the pilings below. By the time winter closes in, the pattern is obvious. If you want your cargo off the boat and onto carts before the next freeze, you do not just speak to company representatives or office clerks. You go and find Turkey Kelly. The dockhand who never moved up in the way people expected has quietly become the living network that keeps the town breathing.